Yo, what's going on? Yo, check this shit out, yo, boys. We just had a hell of a podcast. I just had my dog ZodWriter on the show. Of course, y'all know what ZodWriter been going through lately on Twitter, and y'all might think that's what this show is gonna be about. And if you think that, then you will be wrong. Actually, no, he talked about it a little bit at the beginning, and of course he had to get some shit off his chest, but ZodWriter was a perfect gentleman. He didn't offend, he didn't hurt, or he said what he had to say. He had to state his piece, and we went from there. You might listen to it at the beginning and you might be like, oh no, oh shit, sorry. You might be like, oh no, not more talk about these guys again. But then, bam, something happened. And that something that happened was a definite mic dropping experience. You guys will get so much out of this podcast that it's going to level up the whole fandom. I know this. It's going to level up at least 90% of y'all to do something even greater than what you've been doing already. ZodWriter, I'ma just thank him in advance. Dude is the man. We had a great show. Let's see. I just can't wait for you guys to hear that. So, what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna put some music in because, as you know, not all of y'all, because a lot of y'all has been doing good lately, but as you know, there's somebody listening to this show right now who's been swimming in a lake of bitch assness. And to get that bitch assness off, there's only one remedy. There's Go Deep episode 125 with ZodWriter. It is like a shower from Jesus himself. Release the bitch assness off of you. Go deep. Yeah, bitch.
Gothic shit. Loving is the water red mask. And never ask the question who's the man behind the red mask. Like blood dry wine. Yo, my mic check is Robotech. Run over the track to my lyrical gigapet slow flow. Cardiac arrest like Flojo. Rock ice roll, pack fofo for show though. More and more cream, and niggas still love you, Rakim. The game of death, we kicking niggas in the chest like Kareem. My wingspan is wider than Rodan. My sweet and sour niggas with nose candy snip blow by the gram. I grammatically slam. Before I eat a groupie bitch pussy, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is eating ham. So catch me in Deep Space Nine with 8 million stories on 7 continents and 6 billion bullets on the Star Trek. Solid state logic, thug niggas electronic. Eat, drink, sleep, shit, fuck, build, and smoke chronic. Player, this is not a game. I said it before, when through the door I came with Wu-Tang. The artist formerly known as you got snatched out his truck on Florence and Normandy, dude. We strictly digital.
Yo, the last starfighter. My thoughts make the sun shine brighter. I bust in the bitch mouth to make her teeth seem whiter. Roam like space drones through all time zones. Your face get blown, I make home. Bobby a fuck Grace Jones. Mocha capsule without lithium crystal. Raise the pendulum, cuts through your ear tissue. Digital signal, scramble your brain, then we gain residuals. Like Microsoft, or Mike go walk before the lights go off, you derelict bitches. I give your tonsils 80 stitches. Bobby Longstrong, even fuck the Eastwick witches. My acoustic, futuristic, linguistic, rap fabric is a mix of apples. Plug 'em in. Plug 'em in. Tight. Plug 'em in. Come to spread it. Plug 'em in. Spread this shit for the exclusive. Yo, raw exclusive. Check it from the underground producers. Turn your face stone like Medusa. Slap dick on a wicked bitch. On righteous ones we give sons. Those who bring her turn nuns. I rekindle the flame. What's the name? Bobby. Make it a hobby. Smoke the honey dip, got my throat groggy. You doodle brain, dirtbag, derelict, don't fuck. What the fuck is wrong with you, dickhead? Numb nuts. Just because you made a song or two, what's the balance do on the royalties? Record companies spoil me as the winds hot oil me. Fuck that, savage, back up. Wu-Tang stepping inside the club, niggas might act up. One potato, smack you like the crossfader. Rap data goes back to pissy elevators, escape the projects, living inside the skyscraper. Fuck that, I'll take it back to 40 acres, the cream of nature.
Bobby.
Huh? Yo, my Eve caught one at him 12. I got arrested. First she protested, but on the 7th day, son, I always had the power. Before the Maduri sour with red cherries, hereditary trait. Seeking salvation like the cranberries. Wrote murder with Angela Lansbury often. Till my biological clock stops and my casket falls. He'd sell ticks like Boston basketball. See, Orson was asking y'all, is Razzcast the last to fall victim for wearing no mask at all? No gimmicks, just me being me. But you ain't bending or offending me. Cause anyways, Hennessy used to be a better friend than me. But I had to stop drinking so many pints. Cause the tendency to forget, it ain't baseball. America's favorite national pastime is white supremacy. Never seen a nigga granted clemency. My metaphors is meta fives. My styles go up in your raw dog, little boy, you get fucked like pedophiles. When it's all said and done, I'ma retire to an island in the Caymans, enslaving Caucasians, living off your mama's life savings. I take it all in stride. Dennis Rodman's laced to the side. This nigga glide like Clyde. My hands was tied. Silent cries scream genocide when 2/3 of the planet died in the end. The end justifies the means. The end is power. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolute. Young black men, let us begin. The end justifies the means. The end is power. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Young black men, let us begin. The end.
For the average person out there, they've never heard this term. Jordan, explain to people what Illuminati means.
Well, it comes from, the word Illuminati comes from the Latin word illumini or illumin, which it means light. And so anyone who is enlightened or brilliant, and of course those who are the most enlightened are called brilliant.
Well, it comes from Lucifer.
Well,
what we're really talking about here is Lucifer, the fallen angel, and they have picked up on this, the Illuminati. And if you take a look at some of the Chevys, now they're called the Illumin, and they have the horns going up in the back of the vehicle, very subtly telling us that something is coming down by the year 2000.
Well, as I was saying, it implies those who hold the light, the enlightened ones, and they sent us a statue. As a matter of fact, those ancient Illuminatis sent us a statue called the Statue of Liberty. It's holding the torch of illumination, which is the Promethean torch of Freemasonry. And if you go to the Statue of Liberty, you'll see a bronze plaque inside saying that this was given to the government of America by the French Grand Orient Temple Masons. And it is a symbol of Grand Orient Freemasonry in America, the holder of the light. That's exactly the same torch that is carried during the Olympics. It is the torch of Prometheus.
It's not the torch of freedom.
No, it's not the torch of freedom.
Of the Illuminati.
Illumination.
So essentially, in a nutshell, then.
Yo, what up? Yo, can you hear me? General Zod, your microphone is not on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, I don't know what that was. Yeah, I must have had the wrong microphone plugged up or something.
So what's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm just like, I just got a lot of stuff I want to I want to get off my chest, and I just felt like going deep was the best way to do it, bro.
All right. Well, I guess we shall do that. This is Go Deep, episode 125. I got my homeboy General ZodWriter on this bitch. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me on tonight, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I saw you online kind of getting kicked in your nuts yesterday, huh?
Yeah, and I feel like, it's kind of embarrassing when you get kicked in the nuts by the spouse of the person you're disagreeing with. I mean, right. No offense, nothing personal against, but you know what? I wouldn't want my fiance getting on Twitter arguing with people that disagree with me about the Snydercut. Right. I mean, I just think that's nonsense. I could never do that to somebody.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
I think that's just crazy to me. I'm totally in a position where right now I'm feeling really kind of, actually what it did, and I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I mean, I'm going to go deep here. It really got me kind of depressed.
Yeah, really?
Because in the midst of all this great stuff where we're supposed to be happy and, we got everything going for us in terms of the state of the Snydercut, we still got people that feel the need to come at us. It's like...
Right.
It's like I feel like if you're going to disagree, it's okay.
Right.
And I took responsibility for the fact that I made a tweet when we reached 300,000 tweets, and I made a tweet where I had used a gentleman's tweet as a reference against what we did, because he had posted in a tweet several months back that tweets were not going to solve anything, or we're not going to win this for us. And I feel like when you have someone like that who's telling you that it can't be done, it's just nice when you can finally feel vindicated and say, look, it did work. We were able to pull together and do this thing, get these tweets going, and look what happened.
Right.
We ended up achieving the goal. In fact, didn't we end up with when all was said and done, didn't we end up trending at almost over 500,000 tweets?
Shit, we went way past that. We're like at 800,000 right now. So
yeah, we're at 800,000. So literally, we're showing that using tweets can make a difference. So
hell yeah.
I feel like when you do that, when we're able to show that the tweets do make a difference, that when you pull receipts like that, it's a good thing, because it shows that, you may not have believed at the time that it could work, but with enough people behind it and enough devotion to Zack Snyder and to the cause, we were able to achieve the goal. And it's still going strong even right now as we do this recording. So to me, I just, I feel like that's one of those situations where, like, when I made when I was reporting on rumors several months back about the Batman movies from Matt Reeves, the source that I had was giving me a whole bunch of bogus information. And I had never had a source before, so I was just posting the information because I took it that she was credible. And so I was posting all this information, and when it was revealed that the stuff was not true, that it was bogus, or it was debunked or whatever, I went on Twitter and publicly apologized and said, I apologize for everybody who felt misled by this information,
Right.
And I feel like when you apologize, it doesn't take away the fact that you made those tweets, but you're going to have less people coming up to you later on and pulling receipts saying, see, this and this and this. So I don't understand why he just can't come out and apologize and say, hey, I was wrong. Tweets really do make a difference. Right. He doesn't realize he has such a big voice that if he came out and just said that and just tweeted like that, people could forgive and forget and move on.
Right.
But he acts so, I mean, it's just, and with the way that I got attacked yesterday, I just felt like, now I gotta clear my mind. I gotta clear my head, and I gotta say things, and I gotta get this off my chest.
Right.
Because this doesn't make any sense. This is not normal. I mean, this is, I'm getting attacked. I'm getting called all kinds of names. I'm getting threatened with, lawsuits and local law enforcement and all this stuff. And none of it made any sense to me, because I'm like, you're getting triggered by you're basically just getting triggered by me pretty much just retweeting something
right.
that your husband tweeted.
Right.
So this isn't even something I'm making up.
Right.
It's not like I'm talking about him in a negative way. I'm
Right.
just using what he said as an example to show that we can accomplish things even when people say that we cannot.
Right. Right.
And so now I'm going to give you an exclusive, something that I've never told anybody in my entire online life since I've been online, and since I've been doing my ZodWriter show since 2012. I've never told anybody this, and I'm gonna let you. And I've only, so only people who know me in real life, friends and family outside of the internet, know this about me.
Okay.
And this might shed some light on why I take a lot of that stuff personally, where when people say, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Right. Okay.
And so with all that being said, I'm just going to share with you a little bit about me so that you can kind of put some of this into context.
All right. Let's do it.
When I was born,
Mm-hmm.
I was born with a very, very mild case of cerebral palsy.
Mm.
And it affected my legs and my hips, which is to say my ability to walk.
Right.
So all throughout my life, I had to have up until my mid-teens, I had to have surgeries, therapies, and all sorts of things just to get myself to be where I am today, where I'm able to walk and do everything that I need to do as a normal human being.
Right.
All throughout my life growing up as a kid, because I struggled, because I was going through all these surgeries and various things that I had to deal with, I was constantly being told, you'll never be able to do this.
Right.
You'll never be able to do that. You can't do this because you have this wrong with you, or you can't do that because it's going to be too much for you. Doctors would tell my parents, he'll never be able to read and write. He'll never be able to walk. He'll never be able to drive a car. He'll never be able to do this. You name it, I was told I couldn't do it.
Right. Right.
And so my entire child life up into my mid-teens was me struggling to get to a point where I could do anything and everything that I wanted to do to become the man that I am today. I worked very hard to get where I am, and I'm not, trying to use that as anything or trying to, push that out and say, well, this, and this. The reason why I'm saying that is because when I went back and looked and saw, those kinds of tweets that are constantly being thrown out there at the time.
Right.
We were constantly being told as a movement and as a group that we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't accomplish that.
Right.
I was reminded of everything that I had to do as a kid when I struggled to get where I am.
Right.
So to me, it psychologically impacted me, and I'm going deep here, man. It psychologically impacted me in a way that I would just like to say that it probably impacted me a little bit more than it would have had I not gone through all the things I went through as a kid.
Right. I got it.
Because I believe that when you tell me I can't do something, I make it my mission to prove you wrong.
Right.
To show you that it's possible, that no matter what, if I want to do it and I want to accomplish it, I'm going to.
Right.
And that's always been my mentality. It's never stop me from, doing anything. I've always been able to reach all of my goals. And to me, this was another example of that.
Right.
We were able to prove that, once again, tweets are important to the movement. Tweets are important to the cause. I mean, we had big stars tweeting in our favor this weekend.
Right.
So
right.
I'm telling you, it's just like, when I'm going through all of the stuff that, I'm dealing with yesterday, getting attacked like I'm just a piece of meat,
right,
being called a misogynist and all kinds of stuff, just because I didn't agree with this woman. It's like, look, I don't know you from Adam, and you don't know me, and I don't know your husband, and I'm not trying to know your husband. It's just that if I disagree with him, I disagree with him in regards to his opinion on this. It's not me attacking him personally. It's not me saying anything personally about him. And at one point, she had even said something about how she, on her Twitter page, that she feared for her safety and feared for the safety of her family and the safety of her children, and that she's a mother and all this other stuff. It's like, look, this is just Twitter. This is an online social media platform. If you don't like something somebody says, just block them and move on with your life. It's not that serious. And what I don't get about all these people with big voices who block all of us little people who are just trying to get the truth out there, they have these big voices, and instead of owning up to their mistakes, or instead of just answering questions and being transparent, they want to massively block everybody, and then send other people out there to fight for them.
Right.
And I'll never understand that mentality, man. I've always struggled with people who try to use other people to fight for them. Like I told you, I'd never use my fiance to come on Twitter and fight my Snydercut back. I mean, come on, man. I mean, would you ever do that?
Hell,
I mean, are you a married man?
Hell no, I wouldn't do that. And I read that shit this morning when I got up, and you handled it like a gentleman. But see, here's how I look at it. This the same shit we've been going through forever. This is the same shit Zack Snyder went through. Like the misogynist shit and all his names and all this people being fake outraged and all this bullshit. That's the same shit we're up against, man. That's the same shit we're they're just looking for anything to pick apart, and then they're gonna act like they're triggered, and then after they're triggered, they're gonna act like they're fake outraged, so everybody can get on your case. But it's just all bullshit. First of all, why in the hell is somebody's wife going after somebody on Twitter when all the dude did was share something your husband actually said? But see, what it is Homeboy has been trying to get back into the good graces because he jumped off a cliff a month ago, and he didn't know what we had up in store. So he jumped off a cliff thinking that we needed them, right? So once we kind of showed them we don't need them to survive, and actually we're much better, now they've been trying to sneak back over, and now they've been trying to get back in our good graces. But like I said, I got some advice, and the man said, let them come back, because once they come back, they're just like they're working for you now,
It's like Jesus and his disciples, man. I mean, no lie. It's like, they're coming in now. They want to get the bread too, and all the while they're the non-believers who've been screwing us this whole time. It all comes together like you've been saying, man.
Right.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, it does, man. And if we were all because this week we didn't have any naysayers. Everybody was on one accord. Everybody was doing their thing. We didn't have one crew telling us any negative shit. And look what we did without the negativity. Look what happened without the negativity. We damn near did over 1 million tweets in a week. We're on news stations now. We've been trending all over the world, worldwide, and that's because we didn't have any of those things. So when I went on my tirades a few months back, that's all I wanted to get across to the fandom. dog, without that bullshit, we could be so much better, without that bullshit that they were going through. So I thought, maybe somebody got to say it. Somebody just got to say it. And I did it. So now, at the time, people didn't like it. But now people are seeing it. And the results are in the pudding, man. The proof is in the pudding. We're rolling without that shit. And now they're trying to come back. Now they're trying to act like they've been doing it.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, they're still pushing their narrative. I witnessed it myself.
Yeah.
They're still pushing that same tired old argument that's not working. Dude had his margarita stream this weekend, and or last week, whatever it was. He had his margarita stream, and he had the usual stooges on there with him, and what did they say? When Zack Snyder posted the picture of that looked like Doomsday grabbing Superman.
Oh, right.
What did they say about that?
I didn't even listen to it.
Oh, you could tell that they still need, he still needs a lot of work. Well, there probably won't be an announcement anytime soon because he obviously still needs to work on it. It's like, dude, you guys have been dwarfed. This argument has been, totally decimated. Why do you keep doing this?
Right.
Then you wonder why it always degenerates into that kind of thing.
Right.
What irritates me the most, man, is that I try to go on there and I try to call for unity. I've tried to reach out to these guys many times, man. You just don't know. I mean, I do everything I can. But I'm known in some circles as the broker of peace.
Right.
But nothing I've ever tried to do really will work with these guys because they all have this. It's almost like honestly, how Zack Snyder talks about movies made by committee and you're left with nothing but like a corporate logo.
Right.
That's what it is with these guys. They have like this corporate mentality about what they believe when it comes to this movie.
Right.
And it's no better, and it's really no better than the likes of, say, John Campea or people that have been railing against us since the beginning. I really, like I said, I really don't understand what the difference is between that group and, say, John Campea. I can't really tell the difference because they're essentially saying the same thing.
Right. They're
not saying that there isn't a Snyder Cut, but what they're trying to convince everybody is just as damaging as saying that there isn't one because you can't release a movie in the state that they claim the movie is in.
Right.
So
right. No,
I don't. That's the thing that I've been trying to deal with. But it's like when you go and you have those type of people and you just want to be able to have a civil conversation and you want to be able to hash it out and you're blocked. And then they have little attack dogs that come out at you from every which way. You don't really have a way to defend yourself because like you said, you're not gonna win because they have their talking points and they have things that they're gonna say nonstop. And like she called me a misogynist because she was accusing me of. I think she called me a misogynist because I did what you did that one day where she had put out a tweet or something and you told her, hey, you said, hey, put your wife's phone down or something like that because there was a comment that was made, something like that. Yeah. And the way that she sounded, she was like totally, aping that guy's talking points.
Right, that's what she was.
I just assumed that was him. So I by name, I called him out, and so she's like, and so it degenerated into this whole, how dare you? You don't think that I as a woman I can speak for myself, that you're a misogynist, this, that, and the other, and it's just like all these labels and name calling and just out of control nonsense.
Right.
Bro, I was beside myself because it's like I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at my fiance thinking, I don't want to get disrespectful here.
Right.
But this is ridiculous.
Right. No, you handled it like a gentleman. You definitely did. I look at it though like so when I said that, it was funny, right? When I was like, because it was some bullshit. Whose wife really knows how many articles you wrote about Zack Snyder? Come on, man. Like, to be real, that was you holding her phone. So then, whatever. It was a funny joke. Like, I don't have any beef with those guys, but what you said about them on the same wavelength as John Campea, they are. But see, here's the difference with John Campea. John Campea was like, he's out in front with it. You know where he's gonna come from. Those guys are more sneaky with it. They act like they're cool with you. They act like they're your friends, but then they come with the same destructive message as John Campea. So when we the movement, they didn't see that for a long time, man. That shit was just missing. We didn't really know what was going on with that crew because they say so much Snyder stuff. Snyder. So they title their shit with all this Snyder shit to make you think they're part of the movement. But then after about the 15th minute, then they come back with some more of that bullshit, and then we're like, damn, but they already got the view then. They're just in it for the views, but so here's what we can do. We got to figure out a way, and I want my audience and your audience to hear this. Everyone knows this shit. Everyone in the movement knows. Even their fans know. Their fans are just sticking with them, ride or die, whatever. But we got to figure out a way to get those guys to work for us. You know what I mean? And it's working because Homeboy, him and his wife was talking Zack Snyder this, Zack Snyder that all week. So we should just let them. We should just let them use the hashtags. We should just let them. Say everything, make our numbers go up. But then, if they come back on some bullshit and they want to engage, don't engage. Just let them talk. Because they're looking for the engage. They're looking for the trigger. So once you engage with them, then they're going to start talking shit about your comments. Instead of addressing the original issue, they're going to start picking apart things you say. Like, you said attack dog just now. And I know you wasn't calling her a dog. I know attack dog is just a phrase or some slang. But they're going to be like, oh, he called me a dog. I'm so triggered. He called me a dog and I'm a woman. I'm so triggered. Is he calling me a bitch? Blah, blah, blah. That's how they operate. So now we just got to look at them and laugh. But there's going to be a day when all the gloves are off. There's going to be a day when the gloves come off and we get to attack.
It's comforting to know that the boss is well aware of what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
I love the idea that, they seem to think that he doesn't pay attention to everything.
No, he knows. Trust me. He knows.
I mean, it's like I'm sitting here thinking right now. It's like y'all think he doesn't know you. Right. He doesn't know what's going on. What you guys are saying. He knows y'all by name by now. He really does. He knows all of us. Believe that. Right. Any one of us that's up here with a voice championing the Snydercut, he knows who we are.
Definitely.
So it's not like you're pulling the wool over anybody's eyes by doing what you're doing. And that's what I don't understand. And for me, I simply looked at it in particular with that situation I was going through yesterday. My whole point was, why doesn't he just apologize? Just simply apologize and say tweets do work.
Right.
And then you've cleared it up. You've cleared the whole thing, and you won't have people pulling that receipt again, saying, hey, you said this and this and this and this. And it just why do you want to keep defending something if you no longer believe that?
Right. Because
that's the other thing I don't understand. If you no longer believe that tweets are not going to help the cause, then why defend it? Why get triggered when somebody brings it up? If it's something you said, that it's not true, it's been debunked, let it go.
Right.
Let it go and just disown it and just, well, not disown it, but just say that you
wrong.
You apologize.
Right,
you were wrong.
Right.
That's what I did.
Right.
That's what I did. This is why I think it's so funny when that group brings one of those tweets up. It's so funny. Anytime I say something about any of those club members, anytime I mention them, they'll somehow there'll be somebody in there that I didn't block, that I didn't know, that'll say something. Oh, but you said this, and they'll throw up, one of my old tweets about the Batman movie and about how Matt Reeves. Somebody did that today about how Matt Reeves was fired or whatever.
Right.
And I've just I don't even like to defend it anymore because I've gotten to the point where it's like I've said, number one, I publicly apologized when I got all that wrong.
Right.
So why do you keep bringing that up? What does that mean when you keep bringing up stuff that someone's already owned up to and apologized? Those are my tweets. I'm not saying that I'm not trying to delete them. I'm not trying to deny that I did delete them, but I'm not trying to deny that that I said them.
Right.
If somebody pulls it up, I'll say, yeah, I said it, but I also apologized for it.
Right.
And then to top it off, it's like, okay, you say that you apologize for it. They continue to shove it down your throat and use it as a thing, but at least you can be clear and knowing that you were truthful about it and you came clean about it and you said, I didn't know, I was wrong, whatever.
Right.
I just don't get it. I don't get why they're impervious to being wrong.
Right.
This is why you'll never see a John Campea come around and say he was wrong.
Right.
He'll never do that.
Right.
All he'll do is when he knows definitely that it's coming out, he'll just kind of try to slither on board.
Right, correct.
He'll figure out a way to spin it because people like this are spin masters.
Right.
He'll figure out a way to spin it so that it appears that he was in support of it all along.
Exactly.
But we know different. And that's exactly what these guys over here are doing.
Right.
So I don't know, man. For me, it's just nonsense. And I'm just happy that it looks like it feels like we're about to cross the finish line, bro.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. And I think we're all doing a great job, and I just don't want us to be derailed because we know the snakes are still close. But look at like how Zack Snyder, people called him everything in the book over these last 2 years. He never retaliated. He never said anything. He always just kept his head down, doing his job, doing his work, and he's going to be successful. He's forever going to be successful. His name is going to go down in history. Nobody's going to remember John Campea. If he has an event, maybe 10 people might show up, and it's probably 6 of them be his family, But that's just, it's our, how could I put this? It's just our personality, man. You're a stand-up guy. It's not hard for you to say sorry because you're a stand-up guy, Sorry, I was wrong. Somebody was feeding me bullshit. But those guys have been holding on to bullshit for 2 fucking years and haven't said sorry yet. So we just got to know we're not in the same league. Those guys aren't even in our league. We're something totally different. Those guys are like fucking JV compared to us, And now we're past varsity now. Seem like we're going to the pros at the moment. Those guys are still in JV, So it's like the little JV kids are fucking standing at our bus while we're about to go off to a game one day. They're standing at the fucking big $100,000 bus and they're just throwing spitballs at it. So if we go back and we start throwing our whatever back at them, we're the ones that get in trouble, But we just got to look at them right now and laugh. And that's what I want to do because one day we're going to meet those guys on the field. One day we're going to see them and one day they have, their day of reckoning. But as of right now, we just got to let them fucking be retarded.
I'm kind of feeling like that. Like we're at a point where it's going to eventually come down. It's going to come down from the boss because he knows.
No,
so it's not something that we even have to concern ourselves with right. Ultimately. Right. But it is. But like anything else at this point, especially on social media, it is hard to do sometimes because you have so many factors and so many things that come into it where they just bring people into stuff they have no place in it. Like I felt so bad for Will today because
Yeah.
he got brought into it somehow.
Really?
Yeah, the dude put out another tweet attacking him and Chris Finaldo and that crowd. So I think he was including probably including me and you, and then he goes on in the tweet to say if something about us sacking up and leaving his wife alone. Dude, I almost fell out of my chair when I read that because I'm like, you're going to tell us to leave your wife alone. Your wife is the one coming at everybody.
Right.
Dude, I don't know your wife from anybody. I don't know your wife.
Right.
I don't care to know your wife, and I don't care to know you either.
Right.
It's like you're a writer. You write for an established website. You should be used to people pulling your cards at this point.
Right. Right.
You're a reporter. You claim to be a reporter, right? So when people pull your cards, it goes with the territory. It's part of the professional job that you do.
Right.
So why is it such an issue now?
Right. Because
I'll tell you why. Because your narrative has been blown to smithereens. Your narrative doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Just like y'all used to tell us that the Snydercut doesn't exist.
Right.
That's your narrative right now.
Right.
And that's the problem.
And we're bigger than Screen Rant. We're bigger than them now. That's what it is. We're more popular, and we were nobodies. They looked at us like nobodies. Oh, they were saying, oh, we got the bigger platform. We got this. We got that. Y'all are just the vocal minority. Yeah, bitch.
Right.
800,000 tweets later, we don't look like a minority anymore. It's just like
right. You have all these big voices tweeting, and these actors, actresses, directors, and I mean, you name it. Now everybody's coming out in support of the Snyder Cut. We had Junkie XL mentioning the Snyder Cut today and actually responding to people. I mean, it's unbelievable. What's happened as a result of this big push. Right. From Zach. We're at a point now where when you think about it, it all seems, all these little squabbles with this other group over here all seem rather petty and nonsensical when you look at the grand scheme of things, man.
Right. I'm glad you said that, man. Now the people listening, they can the people know, they just don't know how to engage. And at a time, I didn't know how to engage either. I just used to just because I grew up where I didn't want nobody talking shit. That's how we were raised, whatever.
Right.
So these guys are like, they're not even eligible to talk shit. They're like, bitch, what? Like, you just want to slap them. But we got to look, we're representing Zack Snyder also. So we got to look how he does it. And he doesn't do it, he doesn't do shit. He just sits there. And it won't come down from the boss. It's going to come down from God. It's going to be above him. God is going to do something that puts these guys in a position that everyone's going to see egg on their face. And that's just how it happened. Because when you're not humble, you get fucked up from a higher cause. Something fucks you up. And it does it at a time when everybody's watching. So we just got to wait on that. And it's coming. I know it's coming because we have too much good vibes in the air, And when you're throwing out these negative vibes, my mom used to say, if you fight with the pigs, you're gonna get dirty too, So
that's true.
We just gotta stay on point, man. We gotta stay on point, and that's all we can really do. But I know how you wanted to get something off your chest, and when you sent me that this morning, I read it, and I knew what. I knew what the message was from above. So I was just like, all right, we can talk about it. I hope we don't try to kill him, though, because, that's going to give us a bad look. But fuck it, let's talk about it. But it's a good thing how you're a gentleman, because your fans are listening, my fans are listening, and we're all just going to we don't even have to engage them. We can troll them. We can just laugh at them like, aha, or, something funny and cute. But their day is coming, dog. Their day is coming. And when it does, it's going to rain down like fucking hell, bro.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, it's like we know we're right and we know where we are. So it's like knowing is half of it here. And they just, and hopefully, and see, this is my thing. I had this fantasy, and I think it was just me being naive at the time, but I had this fantasy that everybody was going to come together from all groups, and we were all still, because for a while that was my hashtag. My hashtag was unite the movement.
Right.
For a while that's how I felt like if we could all unite, then it'll help in the grand scheme of things and get these things better. But now I realize that the movement has been so much stronger.
Right.
Without us even really paying that much attention to them at all, right. And therefore we've been better for it, and we've been stronger. And look at what's happened.
Right.
So it's better the way it is, I guess, is the conclusion you can come up with.
You're right. Now let me ask you this though. I just heard recently that Ben Fritz talked to you also back in the day, huh?
He did. I had made a comment to him about his book, because when I found out that he was writing the Wall Street Journal article, and Chris Wong and Fiona and all them were going to be interviewed by him and excited, he had written a book, ironically, about artistic integrity in film.
Right.
And so I went out and got the book, and I read the book, and honestly, when I read the book, it was like getting the golden tablets from Moses.
Right.
Like I felt like, oh my God, this is the guy. This is the guy that's gonna crack this whole thing open. At that point in time, when we were feeling low, we didn't know what was gonna happen, whatever. I thought, this is the guy that's going to blow it open, and the Snydercut is going to get released, because this guy's going to actually dig deep, and he's going to write an article that's going to expose this whole thing. I had this fantasy in my head because of this book I was reading, and I said, and I believe the tweet was something like, whatever happened to the Ben Fritz that wrote the book. I even forget the name of the book. And he's like something about, he quoted a line from the old Shadow TV show. Who knows where darkness goes, or something like that. Some weird cryptic thing, but it was a response. And I basically took that to mean that he sold out his artistic integrity for money, for his career, basically.
Right. Well,
like he was paid handsomely. He was paid a handsome 20 pieces of silver to write that article. So, so we'll go again with some more religious references. There you go. Yeah, he got paid. He got his 20 pieces of silver, and he went off and wrote the attack piece, and the hit piece, and dashed our hopes for that year.
Right.
But yeah, so I was hoping, and because at one point my goal was to maybe see if I could get him on my show, to see if he would actually see. So if he would have been willing to engage, maybe I could have gotten him on and interviewed him, and we could have talked about it a little bit. But I don't think he really wanted to do something like that, and I think now he's doing something else. I don't even think he's in entertainment journalism anymore, to tell you the truth.
Right. So you think he was purposely putting out a hit piece against us?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I believe that 100% with all my heart. I think we were sabotaged, because it makes perfect sense. Wall Street Journal is about as big as it gets.
Right.
And when you got them coming down on you, basically making fun of you and calling what you want vapor, you really have no leg to stand on. I believe that Warner Brothers thought that would be the end of it. I really do.
Right. And it wasn't. And I look at it now, like that same agenda from Ben Fritz. It's been in our movement with those guys we've been talking about. They're in the same agenda. They're the same thing as Ben Fritz, John Campea. They've just been hiding good, They've just been wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, they're the wolf in sheep's clothing, and they're the ones that were. And there's people in the movement who believe that there's people from Warner Brothers in our movement as well.
Right. It could be.
That this whole thing, there's a big conspiracy theory going on, and I wanted to ask you about this. What you think about this?
All
The
right.
idea that within the Snyder Cut movement, there's a lot of choreographed hype going on between Warner Bros. This whole Snyder Cut movement. One of the main reasons it's the way it is because you have Warner Brothers also working within, disguised, as the rest of us. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they are, but we know that they're a part of it. And what they're doing is they're boosting it up. Basically, what this whole thing has been is it's been like a 2-year hype machine to get the Snyder Cut in the consciousness so that they could release it and maximize profits.
Now I
And honestly, if that's the case, it literally is something that they should win awards for. Because quite frankly, there's never been a level of hype that I know of, at least in recent cinema history, to get a cut of a movie released.
Right.
So, hey, if they've been actually helping us, to build the hype, and that's actually been something that has been in the works, then I say, wow, I give them credit for that, because that's insane. You
Right.
cannot buy that type of hype. You really can't.
I think it's above Warner Brothers. I've heard some of the stuff like you're talking, but I think it's above Warner Brothers. I think it's above Disney also. I think, like sometimes in different generations, there's like these social engineering tests, right? And I've seen some of the tests where they like give society these masterpieces of art, and then they take them away and grade society's reactions. But I think that could be what's going on, to see like this is a social engineering experiment, but we're not. I don't think Zach's in on it. I don't think a lot of us are in on it. Or if there is people from Warner Brothers around, and I do think there is people from Warner Brothers around, definitely. I've seen some people's emails, and I'll leave their names out of it because it's just between me and them. But I've seen some people's emails address, and it did have Warner Brothers attached to it. But I think it's such compartmentalized that you have to fly out of it. You got to look at it from a bird's eye view, because like in 9/11, there's the FBI over here doing this, there's the CIA over here doing that, there's Homeland Security doing that, but nobody really knows what for. They're just doing their fucking jobs. But when I look at it from a bird's eye view, I think sometimes it is a giant social engineering experiment from, like, I don't know if whether you call them the Illuminati or you call them, that crew. That's what I think it is. I think it's someone with a very, very high level of authority that just grades reaction of the community. I really believe that, because a lot of this shit seems fake. A lot of it seems not fake.
You got that right, 100%.
Yeah, it just seems weird, like. Remember when Fiona was saying that we should make this like a small business or a LLC or something like that? I think we were talking about that in the Spartans room, and I remember mentioning that because we could. Now look at it. If we would have done that, look what we just did on Twitter. We would have the #1 business in the world right now. But at the time, people were shitting on her, and it was like it didn't make no sense. It seemed fake. Like, how would you shit on the girl for having a fucking brilliant idea? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing all the things that people in this movement have gotten shit on for. Right. And Chris Finaldo has made a point several times. The amount of shit a lot of us have had to take all throughout these 2 years. For having great ideas. It's been ridiculous.
Right. And think about it. This happened before with the Richard Donner Superman. So they probably graded it back then too, and they saw the reaction. And what did it do? What did it do? It made a lot of screenwriters. It made, a lot of people came out of that shit when they, like, say for instance, you have a girlfriend and you love her, blah blah blah. She leaves you. You don't go in the dump. You turn better. You're like, oh fuck, that'll never happen to me again. I'm gonna go start lifting weights. I'm gonna clean my house. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, you
right.
You make yourself better. You make yourself better than ever to the point where she wants you.
Exactly.
And you got somebody better on your arm.
Exactly. So that's what happened to us. Think about this. I wasn't doing no fucking podcast.
No, bro.
A lot of us, we wasn't doing shit. But when we got our art taken away, we rose the fuck up. And now look at us. What's going to be from us from the next 10 years? Look, Ramesh, he's probably going to be getting a Hollywood job soon.
He's one of the people that was brought up in that discussion about because his work is so high quality, like studio quality art. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they look at him and they say, oh yeah, now there's a guy who, if you want to suspect somebody who actually works for the studio, that's the guy right there.
Right.
Because that guy is, he's a genius. Yeah, look at where he's going to be.
Right.
If he's not working for a major studio now, he damn well should be.
Right, definitely. And we will all be there because, I'm not putting I'm trying to be humble, but I think Go Deep in 5 years is going to be the shit. It's just starting.
Hey man, I agree with you, bro.
Right.
I can't disagree with you because I feel like I knew in my mind that you had something, you were onto something big when I could sit there in my own mind and could come up with ideas for what you should do on your show.
Right.
I got my own show, and I'm sitting here thinking about, that would be a great Go Deep episode. I'm like I got a guest in mind I want to have on the ZodWriter show, but you know what? That would make a good Go Deep episode. Like, look, it's sort of like, that's the thing. I knew you had something then, and it's like and that's why when it was like, man, just go on there like with this shit that's been going on.
Right.
It's like, no, it's perfect. Just go on, go deep, and talk to Pilly about it.
Right.
It just makes so much more sense.
Right. A lot of people do that because they get shit and they come just like. But me and you, we talk a lot, so it's not like, you just come to talk shit. But some people only text me when they want to talk shit. And then they're like, hey, man, you got to let me come on Go Deep so I can say this and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dog, it's so easy. Just make your own shit real fast and say it or make a video. But, I welcome it. I don't give a fuck. I like what this show is becoming, but I guess my point was saying, like, it all started when somebody from up above took away our art. And it's the same thing when we, like I said, we lose a girlfriend, we get better. Or when something happens in our life, we don't sit down and mope. And to be honest, we're all a certain kind of person. So in this social experiment, in this giant social experiment, they're looking for a certain type of people. Hollywood is about to go under because of streaming. There's a new platform coming out in streaming. So in the future, I guess the big people that writes these million and billion dollar checks to get these media companies and all this shit moving, they're looking for people now who can stream for the next 10 years. Who can sit down and make these shows for the next 10 years, 15 years. So how do you do that? You got to charge them up. You got to slap the shit out of them and wake them up and be like, yo, you should be doing a podcast. But you don't do it until you reach rock bottom. We reached rock bottom in 2017. And then...
Yeah, it brought a lot. It brought a lot out of people. It just goes to show.
It did.
When you take away something people love, they're going to rise up in their own way. And everybody who's contributing to the movement is contributing in some way That's absolutely brilliant, whether it's tweeting or doing podcasts or doing videos or doing art or writing or doing a website, whatever. Everybody's contributing so beautifully. It's unbelievable. And if your theory is correct about this being a social experiment, they found the right group to go after. I got to admit. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
Right. It does.
You're bringing out. I mean, you're bringing out artists. You're bringing out the future of the art. You're bringing out what future generations are going to have. Look at that. We even got the release the Snydercut rap anthem.
right.
That had producers. That had talent. That has people. I mean, bro, what you pointed out really was just like a mic drop, man.
Right.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
No,
there's something in this Snydercut movement group that is being looked upon,
right,
in a very, very deep way,
right,
for real.
It happened before. Like, all right, think about this, and you just mentioned rap. That's the perfect analogy, because in rap started in New York in the late 70s. And New York in the late 70s was a piece of shit, like the streets looked fucked up. Everybody was on drugs. It was like nothing. Rap came out of nothing. But now over 30, 40 years, it's generated over $1 trillion for these media companies. So then, like, when rap was first, these guys were stealing electricity off of fucking light poles just to play their boombox and their turntables in the park, and then getting everybody from the project buildings to come to the park. But then think about this: the Jews own the project buildings, which later they own the record labels who signed these same guys in the park. This shit happens all the time. So now if we look at it, that same type of social experiment, it happens now for the guys on the internet, because streaming is the next big wave. Rap is not it. Movie Hollywood is not it anymore. It's streaming. So now how did they trigger all of us to be the biggest we're the biggest thing on the planet right now. And it started out with Fiona and 30 fucking Spartans, or whatever,
Exactly.
And it started out with these little bit of people, but they were all triggered to help Zack Snyder, So I don't know if Warner Brothers was that smart. I don't think Warner Brothers even expected this shit to happen like that. But there's somebody above Warner Brothers that knew what would happen, because it happened with Richard Donner. It happened with the rap game. It happened with, football, basketball. It happens all the time. The people from the mud, if we get triggered, something good is going to happen, where somebody with a lot of money can invest in that triggering and make $1 trillion fucking over time. And I think.
So do you think now this is just Warner Brothers playing it out and just wanting to see it go a little bit longer, because they know they've got an audience now.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing that they could say to say that we don't have an audience. They can't say they don't have the movie.
Right. No.
So what do you think is going to be this is why I feel like we're at the tail end, but what do you think is going to be their limit? What do you think their end game is?
I think Warner Brothers is just figuring how to monetize it, because they're in the middle. It's this people on the streets, us. Then there's Warner Brothers in the middle, and there's this big secret society Wizard of Oz above all of us. But when you look at it, these secret societies, they're in Disney, they're in Warner Brothers, they're in Universal, Paramount. They're in all of these groups, but they represent one society. They represent one group behind the curtains. Even though their day job might be in Warner Brothers or Disney or Marvel or these other different groups, behind the curtains, they're all one person. So then that one person, they know history like to a T, because they've been controlling history forever, right? So they know, if we can squeeze the fuck out of Germany in the 30s and 40s and, get everybody pissed off in Germany, a Hitler is going to grow out of that. And a Hitler is gonna try to take over the world. He might not succeed, but he got damn close. You know what I mean? So now they know.
Right.
They know every little area. If we can squeeze Brooklyn, Brownsville, there's going to be a Notorious Big show up out of there. If we can squeeze this Snydercut and Warner Brothers, there's going to be a ZodWriter or Mr. West or fucking Fiona or somebody like that comes out of that. And then we can figure out who that guy is or who that crew is, and we can monetize them. But from the dirt all the way back up to the top of the pyramid, from the beginning to the story, the end, it probably has been coordinated. It probably has been. There's nothing that's not coordinated, I don't think. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's come a long way from us just wanting this movie to it being about Americans for Suicide Prevention to it eventually growing into the entity that it is now.
Right. And then guess what's gonna be next? Next year is gonna be even better when we start getting because like look at some of these 40 Club guys. Look at their subscribers. They got like 30,000 subscribers, 40,000 subscribers, but then you look at their views and it's only like 2,000 views. So it's like, damn, how you got so many subs but not that many people watching? But check this out. When one of us get those 30 or 40,000 subs, then the world is going to start changing because I never made any money off this shit. I've never asked for money. Nobody.
Yeah, me either. Me either. It was always about just doing it to get the content out there.
Exactly.
You're fighting for a cause.
Exactly.
It's not about personal gain.
Right.
So
when we get that though, we get those 40 whatever thousand and we start getting all this money, or whatever money we get, we're gonna go start feeding the orphans. We're gonna go start changing our city with that donation. We're not gonna be trying to fucking, buy Lamborghinis or whatever. We're gonna go do something with our shit because we're actually genuine in it. So when our day comes, we're gonna change the world. We're gonna change our little community set by set. And you're gonna do it in Chicago. I know I'll do it in Charleston. But they're just waiting for that to happen. So like Tupac is a product of the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers are a product of fucked up the Bay Area, California, so that birthed Tupac. And with all of his money, he was trying to change the world. And he probably had a little bit of downfalls where it didn't happen, but one day it's going to happen, just like Morpheus said, one day somebody's going to have to beat these guys, and it was Neo. But throughout history, someone has been searching for the one. And the one always is a rose grown out of concrete all the time. So someone gets squeezed and something beautiful comes out of that. And I think that's what is going on right now from a bird's eye view in the Snydercut movement. We've gotten fucked up. They took our art. We rebelled. And while we rebelled, we're getting good. We're getting real good. And now we're getting excellent. But something is going to birth out of this excellence. And someone is going to try to monetize that shit. And that's what.
Oh, yeah. I can totally see that. I mean, and that's why it would be great to see where we're all going to be in 5 years.
Yeah,
everybody.
Definitely.
Because that is actually a good way of looking at it. And I mean, I'm not just talking about us. I mean, I'm talking about everybody. Like right. The whole movement, even the people that we have little conflicts with. Where are they going to be in 5 years?
Right.
What's going to be their brand? What's going to be their thing? It's like I know, like, you get a lot of criticism where they'll say things like, well, where are you people going to be when the Snyder Cut is, when the Snyder Cut gets released? You're not going to have nothing.
Right.
It's going to be zero. like, dude, what are you talking about?
We're going to get even more content because now we can break down the Snyder Cut.
Not only can we break down the Snyder Cut, but we'll keep going because we're a bigger group, and there's going to be more, cross collaborations on all sorts of different things.
Hell yeah.
We never know we don't know what Zack Snyder will be doing, 5 years down the line. Right. It's like there's so much that we'll be able to we'll be able to do, so much we'll be able to continue to talk about and develop, and the possibilities are endless.
Right.
The Snyder Cut isn't the end; it's just the beginning, man.
It is, and it look at Kevin Smith, or we can say Jim Lee, and I don't know these guys' background, but they look like regular guys, like Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Smith, he looks like one of us, but let's say maybe around the Richard Donner time, he was like, man, I can't take this shit. I'm gonna go learn how to write movies, and I'm gonna go learn how to direct it. And now 10 years, 15, 20 years later, he's where he's at right now. But something triggered him back in the 70s or the 80s or whatever. And that happens a lot of times. A lot of times the artistic guy, he didn't go to college and get that degree. He just he got triggered, and he needed to put his frustrations out on paper, or out on a podcast, or out on a video or a movie. And then that movie captures the other millions of people that's in the dirt just like he was. And that's how it works. The society has changed from the dirt, not from the top down. It's really changed from the bottom up. So a lot of times people looking for a huge investment, they look in the dirt and they find that diamond in the dirt. And I think that's what's going on right now on a huge scale,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think looking at it from that perspective and seeing it as a bigger picture,
right,
is a great way of trying to break it all down. And again, man, this just makes the little squabbles seem even more insignificant, bro. It totally does.
Right.
Because now it's like we're already elevated to the point where we're so far beyond that, dude.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Right. I definitely think that. And I think it's I think only thing we got to do now is just keep pushing. I know the top knows, I know the boss knows, and I know his crew around him know. So we just got to keep pushing, because we're looking for a diamond, bro. And you are one of those diamonds. Just make sure nobody fucking steals you away and take you off track,
Yeah, man. I know. I've been trying to be like I said, I've been trying to do the broker of peace thing, but unfortunately, that doesn't always work. But it doesn't matter when you have good people around you, and you just always try to do the right thing.
Right. No, you're
on. I mean, and like I say, your show, I couldn't agree with you more. In 5 years, Go Deep is definitely going to be the shit. For real.
I appreciate that, dog. And we can, hopefully, me and you still in contact and still doing.
Oh, absolutely, man. We're going to be collaborating now. It's definitely going to be working. I'm thinking about maybe at some point switching over to YouTube.
Right. Man, you should, man. It's the place to be. It's a lot easier to share, in my opinion, because a lot of people, with the big sophisticated sites or the big sophisticated chat rooms and stuff, a lot of people don't even know how to get there, They're like,
yeah, I agree with you.
And they're like, oh, YouTube, all right, easy, so I'm just trying to keep it simple,
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking about doing, man. I'm thinking about switching over to YouTube at some point, maybe doing some live video streams like Chris Wong. Chris Wong is absolutely inspiring when he does his stuff every day. So it's kind of like so I kind of look at it like that, like, maybe try to go and do the YouTube thing. See if that works.
Do it, man. Do it. It will work. It's not even an option. It will work, and I know it's gonna work, and I'll help you when it don't work.
Yeah, man, it's gonna work. Yeah, man, and we're gonna do this thing. I can't wait to see 5 years from now, bro.
Yep.
I'm sitting here thinking at least by then we'll have seen the Snyder Cut for sure. If nothing else.
At least in 5 years, one of us is gonna have a Hollywood job. I know it, and we're gonna be looking for the next diamond.
Oh yeah, I could see it. I could see it happening, especially with Hollywood not really being Hollywood anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. It's changing, man. And when every forest fire, like I said, the new sprouts come up after that shit. Hollywood is in a forest fire right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's kind of like ironic that you say that, but it seems like there's all these literal forest fires happening in California, literally purging the land. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. Well, Doug, I appreciate this, man. So give everybody a shout out. We're over an hour right now. You shout everybody out, whoever you want to, say something.
Man, I just want to shout out everybody in the Snyder Cut movement that we've all been working together and we've been accomplishing great things. I love this movement. I love everybody involved. I think it's wonderful. And I'm just glad that we're all still here.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So I'm going to go try to edit this shit up and I'll probably have it, look for it tomorrow. I'll probably have a live show tomorrow at about 9 in the morning.
Sounds good, man.
All right, homie. I appreciate the interview, dog.
All right, bro. Thank you.
No problem. Peace.